Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. I'm Libby, I'm the designer at Truly Myrtle, and I'm also the founder of Wardrobe Toolbox, which is the place you come to find out how to make your garments fit and join our very happy, very supportive knitting community over there so you can just knit with us and have a lot of fun and learn how to make things fit. Right, let me just put my glasses on because I can't see a jolly thing. And I'm going to figure out who's here. Hey everybody, nice to see you. Nice to see people jump on live. This is my live podcast. I go live every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. New Zealand time. And I go live on YouTube and on Facebook. And it's nice to see. I've got my Facebook page. So you can find me over at Truly Myrtle on YouTube. And you can also find me as Truly Myrtle on Facebook. So that's that. All right, everybody, let me say hi to you. I can see you in the chat here. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Hi, Beth and Diane. Nice to see you and Ruth. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you. It's a bit grey in Tampa. Jess, it's sort of grey here. It's funny weather. It's a bit muggy. It wants to be warmer, but I don't know. It's a bit funny today. I put my Sersha top on today for two reasons. One, because I want to talk to you about something, and this one was a good one to be wearing. But secondly, because it's not uber hot. It's just like middling today. That's what it feels like to me anyway. And I also feel like my glasses are so filthy, so I might just clean them. Well, I talk to you. Hi, Tamsin. Nice to see you from sunny Rangiora, and Carol and Iva. Gosh me, do you get to the point where it's actually impossible to read anything without your glasses? I can't go to the supermarket now and actually look at the packages to see what the small print says on the back without putting my glasses on. I entirely blame the computer because I'm on that jolly thing so much, and I just can't read anything anymore. It's really crazy. And then my mother came over yesterday and she said she's got some new glasses. They're the same prescription as mine, like in reading glasses, and they're actually much better. She thinks her other ones are a bit strong. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm there already. So I'm there already. But mind you, she was already short-sighted, so I guess she had further to come back. I don't know. But anyway, that wasn't very... I just thought, oh, crikey, okay, we can share glasses. Hi, Sharon, nice to see you. Hi, Jean. Let me just get a bit more comfortable. And Lisa, nice to see you. Oh, it's almost finished, your house after the fire. That has just gone on and on, hasn't it, Lisa? What a drag for you. Hi, Michelle from Sydney, and Becky from Sydney, and Katie from Scotland. Nice to see you. Oh, Sabrina is making the most beautiful kuri shawl, and she's just knitting the lines, stitching the lines into it. Are you doing a crochet chain or a back stitch, Sabrina? I'm curious. I can't remember if you said. I don't remember if I've noticed, so let me know. Charlotte said she's knitting her spring fling, but it's anything like spring in a wintry, cold and frosty Edinburgh. Did you get the snow as well, Charlotte, that they got through the UK? I put out spring fling in the spring in New Zealand with Wardrobe Toolbox. It was our last pattern. I'm so looking forward to giving them the next pattern. It will be, it's not next week, it's the week after. Is a new pattern. I'm really pleased with it. So, and I'm busy working on the next one. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've got on my needles today. So I'll come back to that. I'm not going to tell you anything about that one though, but it's on my it's getting to be on my needles. Hey Helen, nice to see you in Tasmania. You started a pair of footsies last night. Oh yeah, those are a cute sock. Every time I think of footsies, I just, you know how it's funny how knitting brings back memories, and certain knits and patterns and things that bring back memories. And I can remember Mr. Myrtle and I snuck away for a weekend to Raglan. I think it was at the end of 2020 after feeling totally inundated with children all year, and I think it was 2020, and we got a little Airbnb in Raglan, and I can remember sitting there, and it wasn't all that warm. We had the heater on, and I was knitting on my footsies. That's what I did that weekend. I just bashed out those footsies. It was good. It's middling weather in Kaiwaka as well, says Jean. Oh, that's good. And meanwhile, in Melbourne, alert, Rebecca says they're expecting 33 degrees. Definitely not going to get that today. Oh, good to Andrea. Your rain is finished and your urchin's drying in the sun. It was so nice. Ruth said she's had glasses since she was 17. Many years. My mum doesn't need glasses. 90 just for reading. Yeah, well, I haven't really worn glasses. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I'm not that bad. And anyway, I've now got them myself. I feel like I'm staring. I've got a light here because it's all a bit funny. Oh, it's starting to rain, but I'm staring into the light. Oh, you're doing the back stitch, Sabrina. Yeah, that should be. I like the back stitch. How was my birthday? My birthday was really nice, actually. Thank you. It was a funny old day because the girls were all working, and so Mr. Myrtle and my son was out. So Mr. Myrtle and I and our youngest daughter went out for lunch, which was really nice. And then everybody came over for dinner, and we had our homemade pizzas, and we had the tiramisu cake, which was divine. And I had one piece left, and I told everyone in Wardrobe Toolbox that I had to hide the last piece in the vegetable drawer in the fridge. That is the place to hide things if you want to keep them for yourself for later. So I hid it in the vegetable drawer, and lo and behold, when I came back the next day, nobody had looked in the vegetable drawer, and there was my cake. So I had that on Monday as well. So it was really, really nice. It was a good day. Katie says she's just started her curry. Oh, you've just moved from Napier to Sydney. It makes me feel at home watching you, Linley. Oh, Linley, that's so nice. Oh, I wonder how Sydney's going. That's quite an adventure for you, though, isn't it? Napier to Sydney is a big change. I keep teasing us about the new Wardrobe Toolbox pattern, Libby. You're looking forward to it. I hope I'm not amping it up too much, but I am pleased with it, that's for sure. It'll be really good. I haven't done the photos yet. I've been putting that off. I'm going to do them on Saturday. We'll do the photos. I wanted to do the photos in a cafe, and Mr. Myrtle is not that keen that we go in and do the photos in the cafe, because I mean, to be fair, neither am I that much. But there's this cafe that we sometimes go to, and it's got this awesome kind of tan leather couch and this great big airy space. It's freezing in the winter actually, but it's this big open airy space, lots and lots of natural light. And I thought, oh, that'd be such a cool place for a photo shoot if I could sit on the couch or on one of the little high tables. And I thought I could ask them. I think their kids go to the same school as our kids. So I could ask them, but I'm not sure, because I don't really want to do it when they've got a whole cafe full of people. I feel like a real dork. It's just, we're not real. We're not a real photographer and a real model. And so it's all a bit, bootstrapped. But I could ask them if we could go in later, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get the courage up one day to ask them. It's a really good spot to have it in. Oh, I know what's wrong. My computer's so light. That's why I can't see myself. I can't see anything. Can't see your comments. But yeah, it's a really good spot. So I haven't done the photos. I'll just see. Maybe I'll go in there. But we'll see. Someone's working on Jess still working on her spring fling, test knitting, and you can definitely. Oh, good. Barbara says she's test knitting the new pattern, and I'm definitely not amping it up. Awesome. It is good, isn't it? I think it's going to be a really good one. So hopefully you guys all like it. Oh, I'm just going to read Susan's comment as well. She went down to New Plymouth a week ago for the garden festival, which was fantastic. So when I finish watching me, she's going to go out and plant all the plants I bought. Yahoo, Susan, that sounds good. But I won't keep you for too long, Susan. You can get back to the garden. What I wanted to talk to you about today, I wanted to show you some of these whips, because you remember a couple of weeks ago I said that I was going to try something really radical, and I was going to start knitting a few things at the same time. Radical idea. And I've started, and I've started with 3, which has kind of turned into 4. I'm going to tell you about that. Because once I got going, I thought, oh my gosh, I could be doing this, I could do this, and I could do that. So it's actually going quite well. It's not crazy fast, but at least I can show you some of the things I'm working on. Now I could, but I'm not going to show you what I'm working on for Wardrobe Toolbox. And that one is the most further along. I'm nearly ready to start casting on that one. I've done all my swatching. I've worked out the sizing for it. I've worked out how things are going to go. I've had a little play with some of the detailing and that. So I'm just about ready to crunch some numbers, but I've already thought that through in terms of sizing. Like I've done myself a schematic for loosely, bands of sizes, and I've thought about how I want that to go. So I'm sort of, on the way to getting it ready to cast on. I'm hoping I'll have it on my needles next week. That's the plan. But the problem is I've got a lot to do next week. And so if I start knitting, I won't want to put that down, and I have to do other things. But anyway, I've got that one. And then I've got these other 2, which I think I showed you a little bit last time. And one was, I've actually even found a project bag for this one. It's this little beautiful project bag. They got it from Long Distance Yarns. I love this project bag. It's made from an old tweed wool. I don't think it was ever a jacket. I think it was probably just old wool, which it's just, I love this colour. I love the tweed and everything. The zip at the top has just got a little bit stiff. There? Oh, yeah. It's got a little bit stiff, so I'm hoping I'm wearing it back and forth a few times to keep it open. Anyway, it's not much in there at the moment, but there will be soon. So the first one this is actually the first one I got started on before the wardrobe toolbox one, because I was itching to cast this on. I've got my needles that I've been using in the bag, so I don't forget all that stuff. And I've done some little swatches. The yarn I'm using is this. And this is the reason I put this top on, because this is the yarn I'm using, less a piece of dog hair on it. And it's called, it's from Yak. Yak Tibetan Fibers. It's baby yak organic cotton, and it's 50/50. And this beautiful, it's like, I want to call it millennial pink, because it harks me back to those floozy days when there was that sort of millennial pink happening. It's a little bit like that. It's darker though. It's really quite a rose. It's like a dusky rose. And it's called Sarasvati. Sarasvati? Can you see that? Sarasvati. So that's the colour. Now, I got this from Lisa at Unwind and Knit with Me, and she sent it to me. She said, do you want to try some Yak? And I said, yes, that'd be nice. I wouldn't mind trying some Yak. So she sent me 3 skeins, just little skeins to have a go with. So there's these 2, which are really quite beautiful too. This one is Samana, is the colour, sort of a sand grey. It's like a brownie grey. I think it's my favourite kind of grey, brownie grey. It looks much bluer grey on the screen, actually. It's much more brown. And then this one, which is also a little more blue. My screen might be coming up just a fraction blue. That one is also quite a blue grey. And that one is called Ditty on the back. Anyway, she sent me these 3. And I thought, oh, I'd like a summery kind of like this weight of top, this kind of top. And so I picked the pink, and I started by getting a feel of the fabric. I started by just figuring out, this is not my only swatch that I did. It's my only bigger swatch that I did. What I did was I grabbed some needles. I started with a 3.5. And what did I end up with? I don't think I ended up with a 3.5. I think it's their 3 1/4. Yeah. So I started with a 3.5 because I thought, okay, looking at the weight, it's 25 grams, about 116 meters. So that's about 450-ish for 100 grams. And I thought, well, why don't I just start with a 3.5 and just see what my gauge is like? And so I just did a little bit, like this much, teeny tiny amount, and it was too loose. And so I thought, no, I'm going to go down. I don't think I want to go all the way down to a 3. They recommend a 2.5 to a 3.5. And I thought, I don't want to go that tight. I don't want to go, I want it to have some sort of drape to it. So I went to a 3 1/4, and I knitted a little bit, just like this. And I thought, this is starting to be a little bit more of a gauge that I like, that I think would work. So I thought, all right, well, I'll knit that bigger and see how it feels. And so I did. I started knitting a bigger swatch, like so. And so it's a reasonable size swatch. I haven't blocked it yet. I thought I'd show it to you before I block it. It's quite, it's definitely got some texture to this yarn. And I suspect it will smooth out a lot when it's blocked. It's got the cotton in it, but it's also got the yak. So it has that lovely dark halo and just that softness to it. Now I did it, for those of you who are not familiar, I did it like this with all these strings hanging down at the back. And that is because I've decided to make a yoke top. I'll show you what I've drawn. I'm covering up half the page because that one is my wardrobe toolbox one. So I've got a frog. I've got a frog in my throat. Underneath there is the wardrobe toolbox pattern. But that is the one that I've done. That's what I'm thinking here. That's what I'm thinking. So it's going to be a little yoke top. I've decided to do it. Oh, I won't tell you that just yet, but I decided that I actually did this kind of all at the same time as I was swatching. And I want it to be a round neck yoke. Barbara is getting what she wants. And so it's a round neck and I haven't decided on the length of the sleeves yet. They might be a little bit longer like these. I'll see. I've got to get rid of this frog. I haven't had a frog for ages. Hang on a sec. Let me have a sip. Hopefully that's better. I haven't decided entirely on the length of the sleeves. There's a few details I'm going to work out the kinks for. But I've more or less decided the kind of ease I want for it. How how wide I want things under the arm, the kind of yoke depth, how deep I want that patterning to go, how wide I want the neck, what sort of fullness do I want in the sleeves, and I want a bit of A-line shaping at the bottom. So I wanted some of the aspects of this one that we have all enjoyed, Sersha, and in a new top, because I have worn this one so much. I find it so comfortable. But I thought, well, this is where this is a raglan, I'm going to do a yoke. I'm not going to do such a big neck, but I'm not going to do a tiny neck either. So it'll be somewhere in between. It'll be an in-between neck. So what I did was, knowing that, I knew that I would not be working this flat. I would be working this in the round, other than the short row shaping, which I think I might put under the pattern rather than at the top, but I haven't 100% decided, but I think I might put it under the patterning. I knew that the whole thing would be worked in the round. I wouldn't be knitting this flat at all. Can you hear that bird outside my room? So loud. It's talking to us. You probably can't hear it. It's like it sounds like a kiriru, a New Zealand pigeon. It might not be, but it's got that hearty sound to it. Yeah. Anyway, so I did it in the round. Now, rather than knitting, around and around and around, I carry my yarn around the back. I'm not overly fussy about how long it gets, as long as it's not too tight, and so I don't feel like I'm just crunching up on my needles. As long as there's a little bit of length to it, I just carry it, and then as I'm working, I just make sure they're all more or less the same. They're not all, they're more or less the same. Some are a little longer than others. But then I leave it like that, I soak it, and then I cut it. Will there be any raglan shaping in the yoke? I don't think so. I don't think so, but never say never, Andrea. But I'm not sure that there will be in this one. I haven't decided, because I have thought about doing raglan shaping, but it may not be this one. Oh, you can hear the bird. Yeah, I feel like it's making a nest in my guttering. It might be on my roof. Anyway, it sounds like our magpie. Or maybe it's a magpie ready to come and steal all my yarn. Anyway, that's why I did that swatch like that. And so what I'll do is I will soak it, and then I'll cut it. Now, Ethan tells me from Get Flocked that he doesn't bother cutting his at the back. Well, I do, because I am economical on how much yarn I put at the back. And if I didn't cut mine, then it wouldn't lie flat. And I am prepared to give up this yarn and cut it right down the back. I actually get a great deal of sort of strange pleasure from giving it a good slice there and then lying it out. And I'll let it dry more or less how it wants to dry. I'll give it a bit of a wriggle. I'll lie it back down. I'll just look at it and just decide that that actually is what I want. And then once I've got that, then I've got that's for my stitch gauge that I'm working on. The other thing I did was, this is the beginning of this. So just like I did a teeny tiny swatch for the stitches, I also did a teeny tiny swatch to work out my pattern. That's how much I did so far. I've only done this much. I spent the first part trying to work out what on earth the pattern would be like, and that didn't work. And then the second part, I got it nailed. That's it. Oh, there's a fly. I got the second part nailed. So I can see that I like this is reverse stockinette underneath it. So I think, I'm liking that reverse stockinette. I can see how that would be bands in here. And I think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'll stagger it. I think I'll do it bang on top of each other. And I think I'll do this reverse stockinette in it. And maybe I'm going to feature that somehow, the reverse stockinette at the top. I'd like it somehow to go into the band, and I love this little rolled band here, and I think the way it rolls here, that I like the way this rolls. I'll go down a needle size for that, but I'm thinking I'll incorporate a little bit of this idea into it, because to me that feels very summery and light. I like that. So I just love this little stitch. It is wickedly fun to do. But what I need to do now, so I've got that far, and I'm like, okay, there's something to work with here. That's where I'm going to go with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chart it out, and I'll make a chart for it, because it's actually not going to be that straightforward a chart because of the way, oh, you can't hear me. Can you hear me, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. I will just double check my microphone. It's coming from the right place. Yep, seems to be. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm back. Oh, good. It was that bird. It probably was a magpie. Now you'd say that. Whoever said magpie, I think it was Joanne. Yeah. Oh, good, you can hear me. So this is the work in progress part of it. And what I'll do is I'll chart it, and I like working from charts. And then once I've got that sorted, then I will go back and I will knit the detail that I want for the yoke. I will do it in the round, like I did for this one. So I won't do it all the way around. I'll do the strip at the back. But I will work it so I can figure out how much of it do I want, how do I want it to be punctuated, where can I do my stitch increases through there, and how do I make it so the pattern flows on nicely underneath. So that's what I'm going to do next. That's the next stage for this one. So you can see I'm on the road to getting the pattern together, but a lot of it for me happens on the needles. I think on my needles, and so I'm looking forward to getting this one charted and then back onto my needles. I'm not sure when I'm going to have a chance to do that, but I want to get that wardrobe toolbox, the next wardrobe toolbox one, done first on my computer, and so I think this will be next. I think this will be the one that I'll do after that. Oh, I've just thrown the wool away. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention was it doesn't feel overly cool, this yarn. It feels reasonably woolly, and that is because it is 50% yak. And I was wondering how it would go. I think it won't be a high, well, certainly not in New Zealand or Australia or various parts of America. It's not going to be a high summer garment, I don't think. For those of you, it might well be perfect all the way through the summer if you don't have a really, high 20s, early 30s, in whatever that is in Fahrenheit, 100 Fahrenheit. If you don't have that sort of weather, then you might find this will be great all summer. But for me, I'm thinking this is a top I put on today. This is a today top. So, and I pulled this one out this morning, and I thought, yeah, it's definitely a today top, because this one has also got a good whack of yak in it. It's got merino silk yak, I think. This is the Happy Go Knitty. It's a lovely twist to it. It's got no cotton in it. This has got cotton. This is remind me what it's called. I've forgotten the name of the base now. It's gone out of my head. Anyway, this is the base that's got, I'm pretty sure it's merino yak silk. Matches my cushion. Yeah, that side. Yeah, it definitely does. It's actually the same colour as my cushion. Yeah, I've got a thing about this colour, I think, at the moment. So I thought, yeah, I think this will be nice. I think it needs a bit of room. It doesn't need to be too tight. It needs a bit of room to breathe in it. No, it's not Sikkim. It's the other one. Mardi. Yeah, it's Mardi. Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, it's Mardi. So it's got, you can see it's got just a black halo to it. That is the yak in it. It's got a beautiful twist to it. It's a really lovely yarn. I'll stop being able to wear it when it gets much hotter. But for now, it's perfect. And it's perfect in the autumn. Absolutely perfect. So it's kind of late, spring through to autumn, with a little bit left out in the middle for summer. But yeah, so that's that. I've started that. I've got my needles, so I don't forget what needles I used. I have not written down the needles. I should do that. Written it down with my little sketch so I don't forget. But then I can pop it all in my project bag. So that one is like, okay, sweetheart, I say, you're on the way. That one is on the way, which is a really, really good feeling. And it's often the way my brain wants to go when I'm working on something else. So as I'm working on this one, I'm starting to think about the next one. And so I was already able then to go ahead and sketch out the next one, do a bunch of different swatching. I'm all sort of ready with that now. So that was really nice to be able to do that. Now, the third one that I'm working on is a back. It's not as progressed yet, but it will get there. So that's the one I'm doing with Dreamfire. This Dreamfire yarn. This yarn is achingly, heartbreakingly, beautifully soft. It is so soft. So my plan for this one, I already knew my rough plan. My plan for this one is so far is that. That's my plan. That's as far as I've got. Top down. Oh, I didn't say for this one. The other thing for this one, it's going to be bottom up. Because I realized that when I was knitting the little patterning, I can't make it flip the other way. And so I wanted the pattern to look how it does. I looked at it upside down and I thought, nope, this has to be a bottom up. And I'm going to bring my shaping into the princess lines. So it's going to be bottom up, princess lines, bit of patterning around the bottom, bit of patterning around the sleeves, the yoke around the top, but we're working that way. Okay, so that's different for me. I haven't done that, right? So this is Yasuk. Yasuk, I like that name. It's yak silk merino, so it's another one like the one I'm wearing. It's a beautiful high twist yarn. It really is divine. It's so deliciously soft. And I got this for the main body, like that. I thought I had 4. Maybe I only had 3. This could be interesting, people, if I only have 3. And then I got this for contrast colour. And I also got this one to go with it, which has got a little bit of all sorts of colours in it. Now, I started swatching, and I decided because I was going to use this for a contrast colour, I'd swatch my stitch gauge in that. And so I've swatched it, and again, because I knew it was going to be a yoke, and I knew there wouldn't be any flat knitting other than the short rows, I would do it in the round, which I have. And as I'm knitting, I just fell in love with this yarn. Oh my goodness, I'm knitting it on a 3.5. The bounce in this yarn, it's just divine. Funnily enough, it has a slightly cooler to touch. I think it must be the silk in it or something. It might be the merino. Merino is quite, it's quite a good yarn to use for these sorts of knits. I think that definitely has a different feel to it. So it is divine. It is utterly divine. It's got such a lot of spring in it. It has the real gloss to it. The color changes in that, even though this isn't going to be the main color, are divine. I just thought, I love the fabric it's making. I'm going to love this garment. It's funny when you get to this point and you just think, oh yes, baby, I'm going to love this garment. This is why swatching is so good, because you really get to feel the yarn in your hands, you get to see the fabric you're creating, and you can start picturing whether or not you want to wear it. Now, sometimes that can take a little bit of practice, getting from this to your head into knowing what it's going to look like, but it's certainly worth trying. So I did my swatch, and as I'm swatching and I'm looking at the other colors, I'm thinking, I think I'm only going to use these 2. I think I'm going to do just a single color on the top. I would still like to do slip stitches. I don't think I'm going to do color work. It'll be a color work with slip stitches. I think I still want to have one of those. I haven't decided what that pattern's going to look like. I started thinking about that last night and looking up things and thinking, oh, okay, what actually do I want this pattern? I know I want it to be kind of soft and rounded. I don't want it to be too angular, and that can be a little bit of a challenge with slip stitch knitting, because it does have it can have a really geometric look to it. So I have to think about how I'm going to do that, and whether or not I do that or I go to color work. But I would like to stick with the slip stitches. So, but I'm thinking, although I dreamed that this would be great, I think looking at this and thinking about imagining what I want to do, I'm worried this is going to just get lost, because the green is so close to the green and the teal is so close to the teal, and it might be fine and I might still swatch it, but I'm in 2 minds now. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm in 2 minds. I'm starting to think this with a single color on top might be what I want to do. So that's as far as I've got with that. It doesn't have a project bag. It has have a very rudimentary sketch. So it's the last one, but I tell you what, I am going to do a plain body. And as I was knitting this and it was just plain, I was thinking, oh, I'm so looking forward to that stockinette body. I think I'll really enjoy that after all these other things. I'm going to enjoy this yarn, just knitting it around and around and around is going to be absolutely delicious to do. Right? I'm going to really enjoy that. And I know some of you like having patterns and everything, but there's something about delicious yarn and stockinette that I adore. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It will definitely be top down. It will definitely be a yoke. I will do a low slung yoke, and I do want to try and stick with the slip stitches. But that's as far as I've got. I'm thinking I'll put a bit of patterning around the cuff, but I probably won't put it around the hem, because I am in 2 minds about having it around the hem. Because I know for a lot of us, it's not necessarily an area that we want our eye to be drawn to. So I'm thinking we'll keep that reasonably plain, and then I'll decide. I might decide when I get there. Save the painted yarn for a shawl. Well, that's what I wondered, actually, Barbara, is if I save this for a shawl, then, hey, they all kind of go together quite nicely. So that'll be good. I think I'd lose the stitch cutting if I use the multicolored. Yeah, that's what it suddenly occurred to me. I just thought, for all my dreams, I think in order for this to really stand out, I need like a charcoal or something like that in between it, and that's not the jumper I want to be making. So I'll put this to one side, and I can grab that. It will be divine for a shawl. I'm going to be seeing Dreamfire next year when I go back down to Christchurch, so it might be that we figure something out, that I grab another colour that goes with that. I don't know. I might have something in my stash. So that was the third one. So that was when I went into this, I was thinking of 3 patterns. Wardrobe Toolbox, which I think is going to be freaking awesome, actually, that one. I'm really pleased with what I've done so far for that. It's a little bit different, and it's going to be great. So there's that one. And then there's this little summery top, which I'm going to really enjoy that. I love that little stitch pattern. It's so pretty. And so if I can just pull that in and really play on that reverse stockinette and the edges, and then this little shaping, I think it's going to be really pretty. So I'm looking forward to that. And then this one, I just haven't quite got my head around the patterning for the top, but that's what I'm doing next. So that's where my brain is going next. But it's feeling like, okay, the other parts, I kind of know what I want to do for that thing, but I just and now I'm deciding, okay, the 2 colors, and I can sort of see where the pattern might go on it. It's just a matter of figuring out, all right, what are we going to do? Are we going to do this? Because there's a couple of ways I can do the stitch patterning that I've designed before. I can either do a spread, which is small repeats that are repeated over and over and over, and in that case I work to the repeat. So just from a designing point of view, when I come to the numbers, thinking about all of the sizes that I want to include, I need all of the sizes to have a certain number of repeats. So if I have a very small number of repeats, I just work out the maths to get me to that repeat, and then get me to the next repeat, and get me to the next repeat. And that's what I did for Dolly. That's how I did that. And no, not Dolly, sorry. That's what I did for Floozy and Floozy 2. I got myself to the next repeats with increases. I didn't do that with Dolly. What I did with Dolly was I did a wedge. I designed a wedge. And so each size has a certain number of wedges, and I basically start at the top, and then I have the pattern that comes down, but you can just pull that whole wedge out, and then I plan my increases through that wedge, and then I knit the wedge as my swatch to work out how it's going. I can knit a couple together, and then to see if the pattern works. So I will decide which of those 2 options I do. I did something slightly different for Phoenix, but yeah, those are the kind of options I have for me from a maths front. So I'm always thinking about that, going ahead and thinking about that. I did use, this is just something else to mention, I did use some some high hires when I was working this. I used these little 3.5 high hires that have that swivel end, which I actually am quite keen on, the little swivel end and that nice fine cable, partly also because look how much it matches the yarn. I just thought that was really pretty, so I used those. I need to remember that I need to use these when I knit the garment, because that is, look, it might be really, really similar to my Chow Goose, but I definitely use these higher hires, so I'm going to stick to higher hires for the entire thing. I might have to get a couple of longer cables to go with those. So that's that one. Now, on the weekend, on my birthday actually, Chow do swivels now. Yeah, I like them. I just particularly love these really fine cables, these little blue cables. Yes, Sarah says she loves being able to knit around and around, especially good for when you're tired or busy. Yeah, I think so. It's just a real, okay, let's just knit for a minute, and around and around and around and around. I just really like it. So I think it was on my birthday. I'm pretty sure it was my birthday, and we were going to go out for lunch, and it was a bit chilly. Weather was a bit middling. It's definitely colder now than it used to be at this time of year. When I was young, by now, for November, for my birthday, I can remember having water fights on my birthday. I can remember it being hot and beautiful. It's definitely cooler. Everything's shifted. All the seasons have just basically moved around, haven't they? Well, they certainly have for me. I grabbed my Outlaw cardi. Now, I wear my Outlaw cardi. It's that big kind of cocoon one of mine. I wear that a lot. And the reason I wear it, I've been thinking about why I'm choosing it so often. There's a couple of reasons. There's 3 reasons, I think. One, it goes over anything I'm wearing underneath. Anything. I can wear it over a jersey. I can wear it over a shirt. I can wear it over anything at all. It'll fit underneath that cardigan because it has a lot of room through the armhole. So that's one reason why I'm grabbing it a lot. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. Secondly, It is insanely soft. I love wearing that. So even if the weather's middling and it's a little bit warm, it doesn't feel scratchy in the slightest because it is just like babylicious soft. I really love soft yarn. I know that about myself. I love soft yarn. I love wearing soft yarn. So that is the second reason. The third reason is because I really like it. It's a bit funky. It's just a bit different, and I like that about it. I like the collar. I like the kind of the little slim cuffs in the body. I just like it that it's a little bit different to anything else, and so I will grab that. I get a lot of comments when I'm wearing it. And there's a fourth reason. It's neutral. It is an absolute beige color. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of beige, but oh my goodness, it is so useful. I throw it over everything. It feels soft. I feel cozy. And I feel like it's a bit interesting, and it goes with everything. So I was thinking about that, and I grabbed that on the weekend and thought, actually, no, it's not quite right. The thing it's not quite right for is when the weather starts to get warm. Because it's a DK body and a fingering or sport weight yarn, so it's almost like a worsted and a sport weight. Because it's that, it's actually it's just like it's a little too much at the moment. I want something slightly lighter. So I thought, I raced into my studio. Hang on, everybody. I know we're about to go out, but I'm just going to race into my studio because I've had an idea and I want to see if I've got anything that will work. So I raced into my studio and I thought, I think what I decided I wanted to have a V-neck cardigan that I wear open but has cool buttons. And the V is super deep, like it comes all the way down here. So I don't really close it. I just have it slopped on over the top. Long neck deep V with buttons at the bottom. I want a double band. I want one of those stitched bands. I just want it to be a easy peasy to wear over the top of things. So it needs to have a bit of room through here. So I thought, well, what I think I would like is I would like to have it a drop shoulder with a reasonably full arm, but I think I would like it to come in a little bit at this cuff, because not too much, but I would like a bit of room there just so it fits over everything. And I just slop it on, but I want it to be a little bit interesting. So I think what I quite like to do is to do that interesting back shaping, that what I call couture shaping. It's European shoulders. So it, the one I did like Ginger Bliss, and I've done it for Alex, some of you have seen, and I did it for Rita, those of you in Wardrobe Toolbox. So it drops down at the outside, and I might have a play with doing it with short rows rather than increases, but I haven't decided, because I quite like to put some eyelets in it, because I want to make this a little bit kind of interesting. So I could do some little eyelets there. And then what I could do is I could add a little interesting, really subtle texture to the sleeve. And then if I put a couple of little pockets on the front, they could have the texture too. So my head is already like, okay, I can kind of see this is sort of what I want to be wearing, this sort of thing. What have I got that I could make with it? And I came out to my office and I thought, I don't want mohair. I want it to be soft, but I don't want it to be a fingering. I want it to be a little bit interesting, this yarn. But I don't want mohair because I don't want all that halo, not at this time of year. Whew, I get so hot. So I want something that is soft. And I thought, I was poking around and I found this. And this is from Isia. I got it ages ago, and it's Alpaca 1. And I thought, Alpaca could work, because alpaca has that lovely halo. It has a delicious softness. And that could introduce the softness and a little bit of halo that I want, like a little, just so that it looks soft, without having the ultra fluffiness of the merino. So I thought, okay, well, this might be a good way to start. What could I put it with? Now this was my first choice, and I whipped over to my computer, and I thought, I'm pretty sure they don't make this anymore. Brooklyn Tweed, this veil, it's a lace weight, because that's what I thought. I need a couple of very fine yarns put together. I don't want to put this with a fingering because I end up back with my Outlaw weight, right? And so I thought I'll put it with another lace weight, and then I end up with more or less a fingering, and that would be perfect, but it would have that interesting double stranded thing going on, which I'd like. And I thought, I could put it with that, because I just adore this color, because I don't know why. It's like a nude lipstick, but I'm pretty sure Brooklyn Tweed don't do veil anymore, and this is the only skein I have, and if I did a pattern in it, nobody else could buy it, and it wouldn't be very big anyway with just this. So I've kept it in my basket because I still like it, and it's really soft. This is Rambouillet, so I thought, oh my gosh, that would be lovely. But I also had this spinny tweed in this color, and I thought, oh crumbs, I really love that color. I love the dark through it. It's absolutely fantastic. And this is 100% naturald fra mork ook ik var it is wool. This is pure new wool. So what that means is it's not overly soft, this one. It's definitely a robust yarn. I thought, well, if I mixed it with this, maybe it would be okay. So I wound it up and I did a little tiny swatch about like that. I took it with me. I took some needles and I did a little bit of a swatch. I changed needles a couple of times just to see. And I just thought, it's not quite what I want. It hasn't quite got the fabric that I'm after. It's a little bit too robust for what I'm thinking. And I don't think this is going to soften to the amount that I want it to soften, even with this. So, and I checked on my computer. I came back and I checked and I thought, I wonder if it's still available even. And I came and I checked and I thought, I don't think you can get this particular one, this spinny tweed. You can get another tweed, I think, but I don't think you can get this one. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to save this because it truly is beautiful, but I'll save it for something else. And I don't know what yet, but it will be something else. So that's been put aside with my veil over there away. And then I had a little look online and I saw that they made a lamb's wool version of that. And I thought, well, lamb's wool's going to be softer. So I ordered some. And I got this, Issika Dvini. That just arrived yesterday. And I thought, okay, I'm going to swatch it with that. Whoa, this is candy pink. This is not the pink I was expecting. This is the same. These are all the same color. These are all 61. Color 61. So these are quite pink. This is quite pink. So I'm not sure. I'm moving away from my nude lipstick and I'm going more into pink. I will swatch it and I will see. It's not as soft as I thought, but it's not scratchy. And I think with the alpaca on top, it's going to soften it up. But I'm going to have a practice. The other thing about this alpaca is it's obviously got dark alpaca in it. And so it will add a little bit of a darkness, a little bit of a dark shade to that. So I'm really curious to see what they look like knitted up together. But I'm at that phase, so you can see I'm right back in the beginning of this idea, which I think because it's a more simple, what feels simple in my head at the moment, idea, then I think, oh yeah, I could just keep this one ticking along. If I end up liking it, then I could cast this on and this could just be there to knit. So yeah, that's what I've got with this one. I'm going to swatch it. This is just so not what I was expecting to come out of the packet. I thought it would be more rose and less. I feel like it's a little more yellow and this is a bit more blue. That's what I feel like. But maybe it's just because of the halo. I mean, the dark alpaca has made this seem a little bit darker. Anyway, I will swatch them together and I will see. But my brain is just off on another one. So I thought, okay, that could be really fun. I would like that. So I'll tuck that away. And I thought, if I do end up doing this has got less of a priority than the others. I might swatch it and sort of have a think about it and feel like if I want it to get together. But then if I do this one, I think, oh, well, while I'm on that construction, maybe I'll have a play with that while I'm there. And maybe there'll be something else I could do next year that would, tie in nicely. Because once I get started, I'll start thinking of other ideas that can riff off that idea. So I thought, okay, well, there we go. So that's what I thought I'd tell you about today. All my thoughts and progress and processes with thinking about new things. So much of it for me comes from what do I want to wear? What do I really want to wear? But you can see how much the yarn plays a role. You can see how much my thoughts about fabric play a role. You can see what I think about, incorporating patterns and how, all of these things all come in the same time as I'm going. What color is the light color? The light color. I'll tell you what they both are. This is the green color. This one from Dreamfire. That one is called Sea Serpent. Sea Serpent on Yasuk. And the other one is called Half Royale. This is Half Royale. Also on Yasuk. All right, this is just absolutely divine. That color. Oh, that is so my color. It is brilliant. I'm looking forward to that. I'm making great progress with my design ideas. Yeah, it's really good. So this has been my aim. My aim lately, we've got more support. I've got more support at Wardrobe Toolbox, which is really, really exciting. I'm so excited about where we're going. And more helpers, more defined roles. People know what they're doing, or they're starting to know what they're doing. And, Wardrobe Toolbox is growing. And so that's really exciting as well. And we've got so many cool things that we've got planned for Wardrobe Toolbox. So, I just can't wait. And now I've got all the help. I've got help to get me to make it happen. And then the idea is that I then am freed up from sitting at that computer. I am freeing myself up more so that I've got time to do this, to, really my brain is a little bit freer, so I can start getting lots of ideas coming and lots of patterns coming, because I just love that side of it. I mean, I love sitting and talking to you, and I do that a lot in Wardrobe Toolbox. This is how I run my show. And so I do a lot of talking to you. I love nutting out tricky problems. I love thinking of new things. I love learning new things. And so that is what I bring to you in Wardrobe Toolbox. It is just like a extended, more in-depth podcast where I have more resources for you. But there are other things that I want to be doing there as well now. So those hopefully will happen. And so this design stuff is sort of on the side. This is the other part. So I'm really, I'm really optimistic about all this. I think it's going to be great. So we'll just get ourselves to the end of the year. We're going to have a little bit of a breather at January and then back into it. February, it'll be fun. And then I should have quite a lot of knits to show you. Alrighty, everybody. It was so nice to see you. Barbara's saying my horses always had winter covers on until August school holidays. If I still had horses, they'd still be wearing covers, especially at nights. The seasons have definitely changed. Yeah. Do you remember that August, we used to have, in New Zealand, we used to have three terms at school. They now have 4. We used to have 3 terms with the May holidays and the August holidays. And the August holidays were definitely that was the cold month. And then after that, everything started to change. You'd have to get back in your summer uniform for school. And it's quite different now. But equally at the other end of the year, we would go into our winter uniforms after Easter. Well, look. Putting those kids into winter uniforms. This is at high school when we had winter and summer uniforms. I don't even think they do that anymore. We had woolen tunics. I was at a state school in town, and so it wasn't a private school, but we had woolen tunics and woolen jumpers, and then in the summer we had cotton dresses with a really ugly zip up the front. You felt like you worked at the supermarket. But I just couldn't imagine putting kids into woolen tunics now in March. That is be the melt. It's so hot. Not until after May, June, it would be, getting colder. Make me excited. Oh, yay, Robin. Me too. This is what I'm feeling like. Oh, it's so exciting. There's so many cool things to knit. Ruth said we used to swim in the river in the August holidays in Nelson. Oh, so it was really warming up then, Ruth, by August. Yeah, totally different now. Anyway, everybody, I will see you same time, same place next week. And in the meantime, do a heap of knitting. I have done no sewing. I am desperate to do some sewing. That's the other thing I want to free myself up for, so I can actually do some sewing. I've got some things cut out. I've got patterns planned. I just really want to do some sewing because I really need some new clothes for the summer. So anyway, I don't know if that'll happen yet. Maybe over the holidays it'll happen. But I'll see you next week. Do heaps of knitting, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.